What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ho to Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry DeRine. I got both of my co-hosts on the line tonight. I got my man, Jay Bavo. What's good, man?
Not much. What's good tonight, fellas? Man, definitely looking forward to another great episode. Got some great videos coming up. Another great week in fantasy football, sitting in first place here. Also want to give a quick shout out to one of our followers. Shout out to Miss Natalie. She said she's a big fan of the show. She's always shooting me messages, and she's always chiming in the comments. So salute to you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, man. Mm-hmm. All right. Want to quickly remind you, you can catch us on YouTube as well as follow us on TikTok at hoetohusbandpodcast. And for those of you interested in promos or shout outs, you can shoot us a DM at hoetohusbandpodcast on IG, as well as shoot us an email at hoetohusbandpodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I also got my man SD in the building. What's good, man?
Nothing, man. Like Jay, I'm riding high on the fantasy football tip in our league that we in. I think that's 3 or 4 straight for me. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where Terry yet. I haven't looked. Where you at, T?
I ain't doing too great. I'm at.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
I'm at 3 and 4.
SD, we at 1 and 2 over here.
But I will say, I did score just about the highest points in the league, so don't get comfortable. Is all I'm gonna say. I ain't had a good start, but don't get comfortable.
Hey, we just trying to encourage you to move on up with us. That's all we doing here, brother. That's all we doing, man. It's all love. But first, I want to give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh, and I want to remind you all to donate to the Ho to Husband Podcast on Cash App and PayPal. All right, T.
I want to remind everybody, y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the core94.com. Tonight's episode is titled Let's Be Realistic. And we just wanted to have a conversation about realistic dating expectations and some of the expectations that are placed on men by society and women when it comes to romance and dating. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to discuss stuff that we've seen on our timelines or things that have gone viral. So we got a couple interesting topics that we're going to touch on this week. This first video is a video that we put up of Love Dorsey, where she's talking about why it's hard for women to accept accountability. Let's take a listen.
Women, we like to be the one that got done wrong. This is why we struggle with accountability. Most women chase bad boys because being with a bad boy allows you to end up being a victim at some point or another.
Why do they want to be victims?
It is programmed in us that poor me is some type of flex as a woman and as a mother. You can see it. Poor woman left with children to raise on her own. That is something that they get to flex off of. They believe it is a flex. That's why when I say it produces the worst product, the comeback is, well, he did it to me. You're not going to get no award for that, and your child going to be a statistic. So, bitch, what are we talking about? The bad boys will allow, you're able to say, girl, I was fucking with Tyrone. He in the streets, bitch. Yeah, he took me out. It was exciting. There's the excitement side. But then there's always, if this doesn't work out with Tyrone, I have a story where Tyrone was the one that did me wrong.
Man, she's absolutely right. We talk about it all the time. How the women don't start making sound dating decisions until they hit the wall, until they have baggage, until they overweight or in their late 30s or 40s, and a majority of the time it's too late by then. So we are trying to get women to start as early as possible. Like, if you can avoid making those type of dating decisions and putting yourself in a position where it's already an uphill battle for women. They can't really afford to do anything to make them less desirable or less likely to succeed.
No, man. Yeah, she's 100% right. And I've said this, man, for a while now. I think women get into these here situations just so they can have somebody else to blame other than themselves when it goes bad. Because when you actually look at the situations that they be in, I just posted a DM the other day where the dude told the chick, hey, he stood up like on her birthday or a date they were supposed to go out, and he told her, hey, I got other girls, I don't want to be in no relationship, and guess what she's still doing? She's still sleeping with him and sitting up and sending me messages like, but why? I just don't understand. What is it about me? Is he just scared to express himself? No, sweetheart. He is expressing himself just fine. You don't want to accept it. You know that he a hoe. But yet, you're so attracted to this dude that's a hoe, you can't leave him alone. And then when it goes bad, guess what she gonna hop on social media and say? These men are dogs. These men ain't nothing. These men full of it. All they do is play games. They not gonna say, I stayed in that knot. I picked the wrong dude. I was a fool. I rushed. I didn't pay attention to the red flag. They never say that. They get into these situations with these dudes that they know ain't no good. I looked up a stat. 65% of felons have kids. 65%. Wow.
That's a high number.
Yeah, they know these here dudes, man, be out here in the streets doing all types of things. That attracts
them to a lot of those guys.
Look, listen, man, that's why I can't listen to a lot of this stuff, man, from these women, Terry, because when you actually break things down and actually look at the numbers of things, you realize that they do it to themselves, but then they don't want the accountability. So the scapegoat, the easy way out is to blame the man because they know every other woman is going to jump on the bandwagon with him and say, yes, he was a dog. These men ain't nothing.
Yep. But this is what they want. They want, Mr. Bad Boy, Mr. Swaggy, Mr. Excitement. That's what they want. And then when he does things that bad boys do, they're like, then they want to go on social media. Well, woe is me. Oh, why aren't there any good men out here?
Come on, man.
Well, there were probably a couple of good men that wanted you. Like you say all the time, SD. Those good dudes is in our friend zone. And that's a fact. Those dudes be in our friend zone, in the DMs, text message, good morning, beautiful. I mean, I get it. Maybe you don't want that guy. He might not be Mr. Excitement, but that's probably the guy that, you can have a healthy, productive relationship with, but you don't want that guy because he doesn't bring the excitement that this bad boy does.
And a lot of times, some guys are just late bloomers. The guy that wasn't that popular in high school and all that. But we all know all you have to do as a man is get your life in order. You got your crib, you got a car, you making decent money. You're going to be able to get time, attention, and sex from women. And so if the guy is smart and he puts himself in that position, then it's gonna be too late by the time she come around. We all see the memes where the chick from high school curved the dude, and then once you see he's popping, once you see he's successful, now all of a sudden he's on her radar, and by then for a lot of women, they're viewed by the men that they actually want to be with as sex options for the most part.
No doubt. And to the point, the late bloomers, I will say myself, I was one of those. I wasn't the guy that, had the game in high school, had the confidence to approach women. Like I had some that might approach me, but I just didn't know how to navigate at that 16, 17, even 18.
Oh, I was navigating through them guts. We were like, yeah. I wasn't that dude. I wasn't that guy. But hey, when you just look at seriously,
still there.
Yeah, like when they talk about deadbeats, all these women, a lot of them jump on the bandwagon of deadbeats. But when you actually break down the numbers of certain things, you disprove what they're saying. Oh, because it's the stigma that all these black men are deadbeats, right? That they don't take care of their kids.
That's how we portrayed in the media.
Yeah, that's how we portrayed. But then you had a study come out by the CDC that say the black man is the most involved father, more than any other race of man, right? Then you have the other studies that say 54% of black men don't even have kids. 54%. Almost 35% are married. Bro, that's 89% of black men, which leaves 11%. That's making over 70% out of wedlock babies every single year in the black community. They like a specific type of guy. They know those guys ain't no good. And then when it falls apart, they want to call them deadbeats.
Well, that's part of it, but I think it has more to do with what we talk about all the time, the skill set of the guy. Those guys know what they have to say and do to get those women to sleep with them.
Terry, do you know? No, let me hop in here. Do you know what gold digging women say and do to get men?
What they say?
I do.
I mean,
I do. They gaslight you. They gaslight you, make you feel like this, and tell you, oh yeah, can you just buy me this? It's all about money when you talk to them. Every single thing is about money. But as a man that's dealt with a gold digger that got me for a watch, I learned early on from that experience. Okay, I see how some women move out here. So now I pay attention to women. I follow pages of gold diggers out here that just talk about getting money from men. That way I won't get got. It's up to you to not get got. It ain't up to nobody else. These dudes might know how to talk their way into some panties, but they can't do it. How you 35 years old and don't know dude love you in 2 days? How you don't know that? How you 40 years old and don't know that a dude saying he'll take you to Miami and knowing you 3 days, it's bull.
He out here running game on you, sweetheart.
How you don't know that?
Come on.
Yeah,
ain't no excuses.
A lot of them be drawn into the excitement and the thrill of it. Go ahead, Jay.
Exactly. No, you know what? But think about this. In certain areas, let's just say in the hood, in the projects, it's a lot of women having sex with the same circle of dudes in that project too. That's another thing,
right? But it's like that in any group of guys. There's gonna be a small percentage of the guys that have the skill set and what it takes to attract the women. That's why, we respect men that are hoes, because we understand that just by the nature of natural selection and all that, you had to be doing something right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you was just,
it's really simple,
or you know what I'm saying, like you a celebrity's kid or something like that, then that's an exception. But if you are able to get it off of your own skill set or your own popularity, you deserve it, from a male perspective. Let's keep things rolling, man. This next video was a video that I just wanted to elaborate on, because we talk about the skill set and the importance of good conversation. This is a video of a woman explaining how one of her dates ended. Let's take a listen.
My biggest dating pet peeves, and in my experience, it almost always happens when I date dudes. Not to say that women can't do it too, but in my experience, it's usually the cishet dudes. So I was on a date with this guy, really, really handsome, probably too handsome, which should have been a red flag, honestly. And he just yacked about himself. Didn't ask me any questions. I was yes-anding. I was following up. I was doing all the good dating things, like be interested, not interesting, even though I'm very interesting. So we went on the date. We're getting to like an hour, which is usually when I feel like, okay, I can wrap this up. I can leave. And so I say, well, I have to go because I actually am catching a flight tomorrow, which was true. And he says, oh, you're catching a flight. Where are you going? I was still living in New York at the time. And I said, oh, I'm going to LA tomorrow. And he was like, really? Why are you going to LA? And I said, well, I sold a television show. And so I've got some meetings and I'm doing like a work session with my producers. And he was like, wow, you work in TV? It's like, yep, this was fun, bye. He didn't know anything about what it was that I did. And he was like, wait, when can I see you again? And I was like, this wasn't good. Never.
My biggest. Now, it's funny to hear. It's funny to hear these kind of stories, right? Where a dude is just lost when it comes to how to navigate or keep things going with a woman. Like a woman tells you something like that she sold a TV show and she's a TV producer, and all you can say is, you do TV. You know what I mean? Like, oh really? You know what I'm saying? Like, just follow
TV
up.
Of what?
Yeah,
what
kind of show? What was your show about? Congratulations, you know what I'm saying? Like, do something to take the opportunity, because you never know what you're gonna learn about a person during the conversation. But she said the one thing that she said just started it off. That, fellas, don't talk about yourself the entire day.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a major problem, and your dates are usually end like this.
Yeah, man. Terry's 100% right, fellas. But let me give you another thing not to do. Never go out with a woman that say cis head dudes. All right? Or cis men. Leave them alone. Leave them chicks right where they at. As soon as they start talking this nonsense out here that's going on around the world today, don't even entertain her no more. Say, you know what? I know I said we were gonna go out, but I'm not interested anymore. Like, no thank you, because this is a bunch of nonsense. Don't call me nothing but a man or a dude or a guy. You call me anything else in front of that, you are done automatically. Keep that other nonsense over in the nonsense section. Don't bring that nonsense over here. Now, back to the original scheduled program. Y'all, you know, this is what social media has done. Social media has ruined the ability of a lot of men to be able to hold conversations with women, to be able to listen, to be able to digest, and then to be able to intelligently respond and keep a conversation going by asking, oh, okay, what's the name of the show? What type of show is it? What's the gist of it? What network is it that you going on? You wrote it yourself? Wow, I didn't know that you wrote. That you went to school for that? Like, just different things, man. That just
compliments.
You know, that's called,
right? It's so many opportunities.
Yeah, that's great. Like, it's called feeding a conversation. That's what I call it. You just feeding it, and you give it, and you trying to get more and more and more to learn something about that woman, to where you can ask her when she get out there, hey, how was your meeting? Oh, it was good. Oh man, that's cool. WGN or Channel 12, Fox. That's great. I love that. Like, it's just so many ways you can go with that if you stay off of social media trying to talk to women and actually engage with women. That's what's missing today from a lot of dudes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's you said the sis, so I was thinking the same thing. Like, she led the conversation with a sis. I'm like, okay, I knew where this was going. But
done.
Fellas, here's another thing. You know, you want to lead off with your conversation, but you want to be just talking about yourself all the time. Hey, I did this, I did that. You know, that's going to be a turn off to her, because then it shows a level of insecurity within yourself if you feel the need to have to talk about all these things that you do and talk about yourself like that. So, fellas, don't do that. And you gotta read in this situation where you just gotta read the room. You know, a lot of times the conversation can flow, because a lot of times women like to talk about themselves. So let her talk about herself. Like you guys just said, follow-up questions.
Well, to the point of dating, right? Yeah. We know that a first date is an opportunity for you to learn about the person that you have a physical interest in. Yep. So if you on the date and all you're doing is talking about yourself, you're not learning nothing. You're not learning if she's actually somebody you want to be around or you want to hang out with. You know what I mean? And like SD was saying, like, you ask those questions, you ask more for detail, and that's how you actually form a connection, and you come up with inside jokes. You know what I'm saying? You come up with nicknames. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, first take. Like you could just from the fact that she's in TV and okay, it's you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have an inside joke with her that you bring up periodically throughout your entire interaction with her. And those are the things that separate you from other men. Because if you had a date where you made her bust out laughing, or you said something that made her feel really good for complimenting her career and all that, you have put yourself in a position to get the panties later.
Yeah. You're like, all right, BET, I see you, BET. You know what I'm saying? Like, something just like, you know, women love men that's got a sense of humor, that's quick with it. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying? They love that type of stuff. But, you know, I typically never really talk about myself when I go on dates. Like, one thing that women hate is when men bring up things about themselves to talk about. Now, if she asks you, that's different. You know, she asks you a question, answer the question, but you want to answer the question humbly. You don't want to be bragging and boasting. Nobody really likes that. You know what I'm saying? And carrying on about all types of stuff. Like, be humble about whatever it is she asking you about. And then what you do is you ask a follow-up question. If she say, hey, what do you do? Well, hey, you know, I'm a COO and I make 7 figures and all this. Yeah, she'll be like, I ain't asking you all that. But if you humbly explain what you do, hey, you know, I'm just a marketing exec. You know, I put on these here different commercials or do this here for certain groups and this and that. What about you? What do you do? Oh, okay. And then you feed off that. It's real easy.
It's so easy to do. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to ask a bunch of yes or no questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to ask something where
open-ended.
The person has to elaborate, and the conversation can sway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can interject. Like, it's interesting to have this even as a discussion, because it seems like it's something that I stopped thinking about so long ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, how to keep a conversation flowing and all that. It seems second nature, but we're from a different generation.
What? But I think that because you know, the internet era, social media era, a lot of kids, you know, they grew up on the Xbox 360 where they were playing online games, but they weren't outside actually having to socialize with people. So, you know, everything is through text message and DMs, and it's not actually, and really, a text message and a DM is really informal. When you're actually out and about in a social situation, actually talking about, that's formal. You know, dinner is a form. You know, you go out on a date with somebody, you got dinner with somebody. That's a formal situation. That's an intimate setting. A text message DM is not intimate.
Yeah, man. Y'all gotta know how to break the ice, man. Break that ice up. You know what I mean? Like, I sometimes I'll hug a chick, like, you know what I'm saying? We meet up or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, you gonna have my cologne on? You smell that cologne? I know you like it. You know what I'm saying? Just messing with her, like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta break that ice, man, and make her feel comfortable, and in the process, you gotta feel comfortable. And that's what growing up in the 90s taught us how to be. It taught us how to be comfortable talking to women, to where we ain't, you know, she asked us a question. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a manager at a store.
Man, it's so
And then
crazy.
You sit there looking around. You don't ask no question. You like, I'm a manager at a store.
Yeah, man. Well, see, I knew that there were guys that were like shy. You know, I remember like 5 Heartbeats with the Shy Brother and all
Shy
that.
guy.
Like guys wingmaning for each other and all that. But I didn't realize the magnitude of it. I just felt like, you know, once I learned that if she don't like me, at least hopefully she'll like one of my partners. Once I kind of adopted that mindset, it wasn't, you know, it is what it is. You either gonna like me or you don't. I'd rather find out sooner rather than later.
You know what? But you know, even back then, for let's just say if you were a shy guy, or even let's just say a late bloomer, right? College, but if you went to a college campus, I mean, listen, a college campus is one of the most glorious places you can be, right? I think a lot of people would learn just interacting with different people on a college. So you're dealing with different people from different backgrounds, you know, especially at a HBCU campus. So I think a lot of times they've even learned then through trial and error. Either let's just say they didn't have a game like that maybe back in high school. Yeah. But now it's just, you know, everything with the internet, everything's on your, you know, in the palm of your hand on a phone. People aren't really learning anything.
But it's the same thing still apply today though. Like
absolutely.
Y'all both run pages, right? So you can see like in the comments when a dude that actually got game post a comment or respond to a thread, and chicks, it's he posts something that engages other women, and now they replying it, and like it's the same thing. The dude in the room, they got the chicks laughing, and now it's 2 or 3 chicks standing around them. You know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of concept.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing to a man that's got that confidence and that swag to do it. It's not the same thing to a man that don't have that. It's the difference between being on the keyboard and being in person. Some dudes get tongue-tied, man, like Yosemite Sam. They be in there. They don't know what to say, man. They be in there like Porky the Pig. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Like they don't know what to say to these women.
Idolizing the women, though.
I know, but it don't even matter. Some of them ain't idolized. They just not comfortable around women, Terry. They not.
They not.
A lot of these dudes ain't comfortable.
Wait, a lot of these dudes in today's day and age aren't even having sex. They ain't even get women. A lot of them, you know, are watching Pornhub or X videos or whatever porn site.
And these dudes beating off, man. These dudes is beating off, man. They got They getting gallons of baby oil from Sam's Club. They ordering. Listen, they got Jergens getting delivered every 4 weeks, man.
From Amazon.
Oh, that's
These
funny.
dudes ain't getting none out here. It's an all-time high of virgin men in the United States. That's where the word incel came from. They can't get no woman. They feel like women owe them something. They don't really like women because they can't get none. 63% of men don't have a single and at home jacking off under 30. That's a huge number.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
a
crazy.
huge number.
And these dudes are on dating sites too. That's the crazy part. These dudes
it,
on dating sites and they're not getting.
Yeah.
They're still not getting to them.
I mean, it's
They ain't getting nothing on no dating site.
Right. You gonna have, if you can't have pool women in real life, your profile and your approach online is gonna be just as lame. That's why the guys that do have success in real life, they go on the app and now they've got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they know what to say, they know how to. They have the look, they have the lifestyle, and they got the time. It's easy to do with a digital conversation. Man, it's just really interesting to see how many guys lack the basic skills it takes to have success with women. We're about to get up out of here, man. We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be getting into tonight's topic. Let's be realistic, where we're talking about dating expectations and the expectations that are placed on men. We'll be bringing in our guests as well. You guys are tuning into the Ho to Husband podcast. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read, or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. We have our guests on for tonight. We're talking with Anita Stoudmire. How you doing, Anita?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me back.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely a friend of the show. We saw you done went viral on us, so we're glad we got you on the show. But before we get into the conversation, can you let everybody know a little bit about you and what you got going on?
So I am a licensed professional therapist out here in the real world. I have a private practice here in Virginia where I live. I am also a content creator online. Better Love Movement is my platform. And so my podcast is now defunct, that's over, but I do still have my YouTube channel. I still have my Instagram platform, and just out here trying to help people, specifically women, learn how to be their best selves and learn how to attract and keep a really great, high quality man.
All right. Well, yeah. I'm glad that we have women like you that are out there that are putting out content that talk about the accountability. Like I just said, you went viral for a video where you kind of called women out for quitting therapy. Was there any backlash to that? How did going viral turn out?
I'll see some.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about a lot of the content that I create, it gets repurposed or reposted to platforms that I'm technically not even on. So I am not on Twitter. I'm not on TikTok. But I did hear from people who are some of the things that were being said over there. So I always find that interesting because those are platforms I'm not even on.
Even
happens to me too.
You had a couple of celebrities. You had a couple of celebrities share out. Because I think I tagged you. It was on Voice Walkers that I tagged you. And somebody actually called you a pick-me therapist on in the comments there.
Okay.
Of course they did. Anytime women are being held accountable, they hate it, and they're gonna hate you for it. Like, that's just the reality of it. When you put out content like that, that's holding women accountable, you ain't tagging nobody. You just generally speaking. So it's got to be some women out here as a therapist that's actually doing these things, but it don't even matter. They don't want to hear it. The hit dogs is going, how? They going to holler.
Yes, they are.
That's what they going to do.
Absolutely.
So I got a question for you real quick. So why do you think, because you mentioned helping women attract and keep these quality men, correct? So what do you think is the biggest reason why so many women can't attract or keep quality men in their lives?
Some women don't attract quality men because of some of the choices that they're making. So, to be quite frank, they are not quality women. And they believe that the things that make them quality women, men don't think that's a quality woman. So that's the first thing. They're going to have to sit down and look at themselves and say, okay, am I a quality woman? Every woman can attract a man sexually. So that's a big difference, right? That women need to know the difference. Every woman is going to attract a man sexually, but that's called attention, not retention. So women need to learn how to retain a good man. They need to learn how to have something to offer that's non-sexual. So what is your value non-sexually is what I often ask women.
Okay, but
what is the common answer?
Ladies, like, hold on real quick, Jay. I gotta make a disclaimer, all right? Because being a freak is important too. All right, we don't want to dismiss that. Don't want to gloss over that, like outside, like
we need a hybrid.
Yeah, you gotta have it all.
You gotta have some skills.
Absolutely.
It's interesting though, because social media can be a very toxic place. And so simply trying to point out things that women do that cause men to fall out of love or cause them to not be viewed as girlfriend or wife material by the men that they ultimately want to be with. Simply giving out content like that makes you the bad guy to a lot of women online. And then you're also the topic of the pandering, so it's really, I commend women like you that actually stand up and speak, give a realistic perspective. That's one of the main reasons we wanted to bring you on the show. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you is, what is your idea, or how would you explain to one of your clients or a woman out there what a realistic perspective on dating and relationships in 2023 is?
Well, I teach women to get back to basics. I've been often touted as having very old-fashioned views, but the truth of the matter is I teach women to do what works. So it doesn't matter if your grandmother used it or if your mother used it. If it works, I want you to do it. I want you to stop following the advice of the modern day, whether it's a feminist agenda or just some modern day, theory. So not something that we've actually seen work. It's just a talking point. We need to get back to doing the things that actually work. And that's what I teach women.
I definitely agree with you there, Anita. And when you talk about these basics, now I saw a video you said, people aren't getting married, and this will cause the country to erode here. Do you think that's done deliberately?
There is an agenda, and I have my thoughts and my theories about that, but there is an agenda. And, that's why critical thinking is so important. I'm always talking about that on my platform, is that we have to be willing to think critically. So who would benefit from that? Who would benefit from keeping men and women apart, specifically in the African American community? Who would benefit from that? We really need to start thinking critically. Who benefits from the music that gets put out? Who benefits from some of the things we see, like you said, on social media, which could be a very toxic place? Who benefits from those things? We have to be willing to think critically about that.
TV, same thing. Same thing in TV.
Yeah.
There isn't a show. All of these here shows out here, all of them do the same thing. It's a bunch of women bickering, fighting, call each other names, throwing drinks. Every year they renewing this here stuff. Every year.
Yep.
Ain't no Cosby's, ain't no Different World, ain't no Fresh Prince, none of those Family Matters. Ain't no more of that at all. Where it's a strong black dad with a strong black family raising kids the right way. Absolutely not. Now it's a bunch of boss chicks. It's a bunch of boss chicks and it's a bunch of boss. Yeah, it's a bunch of boss chicks and guys that say they hims. It's a bunch of guys and a bunch of people like that all over TV for the black people. Like it's part of the agenda from the man. Who you got? Sexy Red. Who you got? Sukihana. Who you got? Cardi B. You got all of these people out there in the forefront. You know, back then in the 90s, it was NWA. It was all of the gangster rap and all of this here stuff to make black men a certain way. Now they targeting the black women. Now it's let's get to the black women. True. And it's working to perfection because now men over here, women over here, the men saying, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I'm going over to Colombia. I'm going over to Brazil. I ain't going to deal with these women. And the women stuck. Yeah, the women stuck like, man, what do we do now? And it's working to perfection. So the man is the one that's benefiting from all of this. And we all know who the man is. So I ain't going to say that.
Well, one of the things that I had recently posted was, and this upset some women, where I said, you know, a civilization will be judged by their women. And that if the women fall, if the women are degenerate, if the women are not put on a pedestal or made to be better, you know, once they come off of that pedestal, once they are in that race to the bottom, we're done for. We're done for. And that's exactly why they are targeting women, because a civilization whose women is immoral or unethical or degenerate, like there's no hope, because women are the seed of That's right. We're the seed of civilization. Through our womb, every person will come. We're the first teacher of a child.
Of a kid.
And so if mom is not teaching anything, if what she's teaching is, you know, immoral or crazy, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
What are some things you think we can do to combat that?
Well, I believe that women my age need to start speaking out more. Women who are seasoned, women who have their head on straight, women who can take the smoke, who can take the heat, and they need to start speaking out more. They need to start guiding and directing younger women and kind of letting them know, hey, you know, this is the track you're on and this is where it's going to lead if you don't make some changes.
Yeah, you know, they deliberately target, like you said, the women. Now this goes all the way back to the beginning of time. If you have been raised in any type of church or whatever it is, and you a Christian or whatever, this goes back to the beginning of time. Satan went to Eve to get to Adam. So now they go through the woman because they know the men want the women. That's what we want as men. We want the women
control the money in the household for the most part.
Right, but not just that. Right. Not just that. They control something way more important than that to men, and that's that thing, Terry. Yeah. That's that thing that they control. So therefore,
that vaginal area.
If the overall census of that is in the gutter, the men gonna go to the gutter to get it. Yeah. We gonna go to the gutter to get it. And that's just the truth of it. Now, men got an easier, what a lot of the women don't understand is that men got a easier chance of getting out of the gutter to go get them a good woman. A lot of times, the men got the easier chance because we're not looked at as like women are when they down in the gutter doing everything under the sun. It's just a different ball game. And so now you don't have the black man. You still, and let me not say that, because 85% of black men still marry black women and 94% of black women still marry black men. But it's falling apart. The black men is the most married out at 15%. The next closest is the white guys, and it's less than 2% for white men. It's like 1.5%. So Yeah, we move out and marry out way more because of that the gutter, and I just mean that in the sense of it, the gutter type of mentality that's down there, that's being projected and portrayed to the women nowadays.
Anita, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I kind of wanted to shift the conversation a little bit. I on my platform, I often talk about how I feel like the significance that a lot of women place on first dates and date location, it really sets them up for failure in the dating world, because there are a lot of guys that sell them a dream, for lack of a better terms. But a recent situation today, all over our timelines, we saw this list of restaurants where or first date locations that are places that are unacceptable to women. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this list and the amount of places that women are eliminating from, date candidates.
Right, but again, if you have women that are 50 and above who have experienced dating, who have experienced marriage and family, again, these younger women are putting emphasis on things that do not matter. They are creating these lists and putting emphasis on things that do not matter to their long-term happiness, to the long-term health of a good relationship. And so it's just like money. There's been umpteen studies done that show that once you meet and marry a man who has, he's capped, his income will be capped at a certain amount. Any money that he has over that will not improve your happiness score at all. It is not about the more money he has, the better the relationship is, or the happier I will be. The research does not support that. So yes, as long as you all are not in the street struggling, but once he hits $150,000, him making more than that, it's not going to improve your relationship success. It's not going to improve your happiness. But younger women, they are focusing on things that don't matter. And that list, it's ridiculous. There are some amazing things on that list. And I'm thinking, okay, what? Yeah, why? Yeah, it made no sense. But see, they're worried about all the wrong things. They're not determining if the man is kind. They're not determining if he's ambitious, if he has a vision for his life. They're not determining, if he has integrity. They're worried about the place they're going to go to for the first time.
Exactly.
So same with the coffee dates and
it sets it up for the guys that are F-boys that are going to lie to them to give them exactly what they asked for.
Like taking candy from a baby. Take over the Fogo Day child. Go ahead and slide in this back seat real quick. Go on, slide in this back seat real quick after Fogo Day child, because Pound Town wasn't on there. So we could go to Pound Town. That wasn't on the list. So, but this is how. But what I'm saying is that guys that know the game and play the game well and got the finances, they ain't got no problem taking you for a $200 date, sweetheart. Not a single thing, because you hold that over anything. You don't care, like you said, Anita, that he ain't got no integrity. You don't care. Right. You just want something to post to social media, and that's what's gonna turn you on. And he knows it. He know it. So,
it's crazy they put all this emphasis on a, 5-star restaurant here. And what if you go to a 5-star restaurant and it's a lousy date?
Right.
Now you spend $300 and she ain't calling you back.
Exactly.
Just imagine when I read the list. To me, it in my brain, like you said, I did some critical thinking, and to me, it was like they eliminated places where they would be embarrassed to post on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's exactly what they did. Yep.
You can have a great date at Waffle House. You know what I'm saying? You can laugh and have a great conversation and everything. But they don't want to post that they went to Waffle House or they did something that was inexpensive.
What's crazy about that? Just a couple of weeks ago, before that young lady get on there and said she looked too good for the Cheesecake Factory. About a week ago before that, posted went to the Cheesecake Factory and went to bat, and I would have thought nothing of it. Now, because old girl said, "Hey, I look too good for the Cheesecake Factory." Now everybody made it cool to dump on the Cheesecake Factory.
Bro, have y'all seen the Cheesecake Factory menu? Have y'all seen their menu? They got like 10 pages on their menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you can't find nothing on Cheesecake Factory, you cannot satisfy this heifer. You can't satisfy a chick. She can't find nothing at the Cheesecake Factory. Like, I ain't never seen no menu as big as the Cheesecake Factory. But the thing that pisses me off, this is the thing that pissed me off, you know, because I hear these conversations and I've seen some of this stuff posted. And the women say, I don't want to go to no chain restaurant. That restaurant is everywhere. And then, but guess what? Guess what she gonna get you? She gonna get you chain coochie. This ain't no virgin coochie. This is chain coochie. You got 15, 20 bodies under you. Hold on. I can't take you to a chain restaurant, but I get chain coochie that 15 other men done got. Come on now. Cut it out. Like these here women don't understand. Like, when you get with a dude that's got his head on straight, this stuff just ain't gonna fly. It's just not gonna fly. I'm not gonna go nowhere with you. I'm gonna leave you alone completely because what you are saying to me lets me know that you ain't really thinking about me. You thinking about the money and what I'm gonna spend and what you can get and extract from me. Not what we gonna talk about. Not if we gonna vibe. Not if the chemistry is gonna be there. No, you thinking about the money so you can show off on social media and to your friends. And therefore, that's not the type of woman that I want to be dealing with at this particular point in my life. 15 years ago, I would have took you and fed you to the mattress when we were done, and then not called you no more because I really didn't care.
I wanted to ask you. Touched on it. The next point that I wanted to ask you: how much influence do you think a woman's friends in her circle has on her dating decisions?
Well, again, for younger women, you know, one of the things that I also talked about recently is we're in a stage right now where we have this extended adolescence. And that basically means that people are taking longer and longer to grow up. So my mother at 24 was married and had 2 children. And we are seeing people. So I had a young lady come into my practice 2 weeks ago. She's 32. And I made the suggestion, you know, would you like to get married? Would you like to have children? And she said, yes, I would. I said, okay, well, you know, you're 32. I really want you to consider doing that sooner rather than later. And her response was, I'm too young to be someone's mother.
What?
And I was thinking, 32? You're 32. Right. They think 32 is, they think that's young.
Fertility ain't gonna last forever.
In terms of physical attractiveness, we live in an era now where women have a lot of enhancements. So a woman that's in her 30s is still likely to be having 25-year-old guys shooting a shot and trying to get her, and she can still get sexual attention from much younger and even older men.
Come on, Terry. Come on. A 25-year-old dude shooting a shot? Come on. That ain't nothing. What you think he's shooting his shot at a boat?
I mean, but they when they brag about having all these options, that's what they be talking about. Everywhere
it's
they
sexual
go.
Options. What woman don't have sexual options, Terry?
We know that, but they treat it as if there are options to be married or options for long-term success.
Yeah, you're right. They do.
Oh, I'm just
reporting. No, I ain't saying it. like you know, I don't know. That's like a woman bragging about having dudes that want her for sex is like a 7-footer bragging he can dunk a basketball.
Right.
Like, or low in the rim to dunk a basketball.
Yeah, like okay, cool. Like it's nothing to really brag about. I mean, you can do that in your sleep, and that's women. Like how they don't understand that your sexual options and your relationship options are 2 different things is baffling. Yep. Because if that was the case, they would be married by now. Because most of them want to be married, but the unrealistic expectations is keeping them from doing it.
Stuff that they post in the comments that they make, a lot of them will have this delusion that they're single by choice. They haven't met anybody that is up to their level or got enough swag for them, or like they convince themselves that it's because none of the men that they met or date was good enough. And then you have the panders you were just too much for him. He just wouldn't understand.
Oh God.
You were just too woman for him.
Oh,
Like,
Oh
that's
God.
why they feel like that, man. They really
These
buy into
grifters.
it. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And then they pay for the $4,000, $4,500, package
Man.
for the retreat,
Yeah.
where they gas them up even more.
And you're not even making those numbers up either.
Sure
That's
ain't.
actually true.
But right now, because we're in this extended adolescence, you have
13th grade.
30-year-old women who have the mindset of a 15-year-old. So they are very much dependent on their peers and what their peers think. Many of them don't know how to think for themselves. A lot of women that have these enhancements, they're not getting these enhancements because it's something they really want to do. They're doing it because their peers are doing it.
Wow.
And so that's what I want women to really think about, is sit down with yourself and ask yourself, do I want this?
Anita,
I
I have a
can
quick,
that makes sense.
Anita, I have a quick question. This might be a controversial one. Do you think one of the causes of that is there's younger single mothers, mothers that have these kids, let's just say in their late teens or early 20s? Do you think that's a cause of it too, or that's adding to that?
Well, research shows us that a woman who has a child before the age of 21, her emotional maturity will be stunted. So whatever age she has that first child at, if she does not do some work, she will be stuck. She will be emotionally stuck at that age for the entirety of her life. But we are seeing it even with women who don't have children. Like I said, this 32-year-old did not have any children, never been married, but she felt young. She felt that she was not mature enough. And in my world, 32 is grown. That's a grown adult. So we're seeing it even amongst women who have no children.
But you know what? You said something about taking their friends' thoughts like into consideration and all this and stuff, like running. We just seen a young lady that we know who was married to a famous singer, going viral this week, and saying that she would not have divorced him hadn't it been for somebody else influencing her choice to divorce him. Isn't that amazing? Like, just the different things going out here is really influencing women. And this is what we know. Everybody knows that because of how a woman feels, and that if you influence her feelings, there is going to be an action behind it. If you influence them enough, that's why society markets so many things to women. Think about it. When you got they just started marketing to big women, right? The bigger women, they walking down Victoria's Secrets, they got billboards, they on Sports Illustrated, they on all these things. How many fat men you seen in drawers on Sports Illustrated?
Exactly.
None. You ain't seen them on billboards.
Only one I can think is Prince Fielder.
You ain't seen them nowhere advertising nothing for the men like that, because men don't get moved by that emotionally to say, you know what, I'm gonna go buy that. And that's the same thing that the panderers use. They tap into the feelings. They tap into the emotions of telling you a queen, telling you you're not asking too much, you're just asking the wrong man, telling you that it's all the men's fault. And the women say, yes, tell me more of this. Make me feel good. Tell me more. I'll pay you to tell me more of this. And anybody that don't do it, those people are haters, misogynists, don't like women, gay, sassy, all these here other names that they use. So everybody knows it. Even the panderers who are using women, just like society is using women for the money. It's all the same thing. It's a game. It's a scam. The women just don't understand it.
Oh man, this has been a really good conversation. I always like our conversations with you, Anita. Before we get up out of here, can you let everybody know how they can find your content or how they can reach you?
So you can find My coaching platform, which is Better Love Movement, if you put that into Google, it would take you everywhere there is to go. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel. My website is Better Love Movement. So if you want to connect with me, Instagram is the place where I primarily go live and talk to people and create reels and answer people's questions.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate the conversation. But before we get up out of here, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Production, for keeping us laced with our background music. I also want to remind everybody to continue supporting the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. JSD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up with me so we can get another episode knocked out. And Anita, again, we appreciate the conversation and all the wisdom, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
This has been another episode of the Ho to Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.